Cuesta, okay? And here's the guy that actually created this, okay? And he's going to walk through it with you pretty quickly because I think it's going to be really valuable to everybody, okay?
So, good morning. Yeah, you want to sell how many? That was my reaction when Bill said, I want to sell 10,000 copies of this book. Now, just by a show of hands, who has ever tried to sell 10,000 copies of anything? Not as many as I thought. Because the next part of it was going to be in who found it easy, and at that point everybody's hands would go down. When Bill said it, this was my initial reaction. But then I thought, well, okay, don't treat it as how do we sell 10,000 copies of something. Let's instead think about how do we sell 10,000 copies, $25 each, $250,000 of product. At that point, it becomes a different exercise. And so we started to think of it as a campaign just to sell $250,000. And I wanted to put this together so that anybody who is trying to launch a product or launch a book can take the steps that we went through, and I'm going to explain why we took those steps and the logic behind them so that you can then take that swipe file and just convert it to your own campaigns. So this is what we came up with. Now, you probably can't read that, and as it happens, neither can we. Because we sat there on a telephone conversation, and it was printed so small that we couldn't actually make anything out. However, we're actually going to take you through just one small part of that. And it's the part, if I go back a moment, there's the part just at the top, which was designed to get people to promote the book on our behalf. Because when I sat down to it, I thought, you can't sell 10,000 copies of anything on your own. You need to get other people involved. Because at that point, it's not how do I sell 10,000 copies, it's how do I get 10 people to sell 1,000 copies, how do I get 1,000 people to sell 10 copies, which makes it a much easier proposition. So the first thing is, you need as much help as you can get. Get as many partners on board. Affiliates, JV partners, friends, family, random strangers that you pull off a passing bus, anybody that you can get to help you. The second thing that was important was, don't make them think. If people have to think too hard, if you're going to make them write their own emails and write their own sales pages and create their own videos, they're not going to do it. Because everybody is too busy. Everybody is trying to run their own business. They're not going to take time out from that to help you build yours. So you've got to make this as easy as you can for them. So the first thing we did was enlisting as much help as we could. So we put up a sales page, effectively, to join the launch team. And we asked everybody who had submitted a campaign for the book. So immediately you've got 49 partners. And then Bill was going around talking to audiences at events. And we said, right, well, every time that you speak, invite people to join the launch team as well and get them on board and try and build some momentum. And obviously, Bill has a lot of connections who have lists already, so get them involved. And all of you know people who have connections. You know spheres of influence. You know people who are connected. You know list owners, so get them involved as well. And finally, of course, anybody who actually bought the book, we then took them to another page where we said, well, you've got the book, you obviously like it, you're on board with this idea, so would you help us to promote it? Second thing we did was we bribed people to join the tribe because it's difficult when you're doing something like this and there's no affiliate commission because all of the money is going to charity in this case. So if we can get people on board without affiliate commission, then you can get them on board with it. So we decided to create some prizes for people who referred the most. So there were, if you referred 10 buyers, then we'll give you the resources that were in the books, all of the emails and postcards and everything else. If you refer 25 buyers, you get a thank you letter and a signed copy of the book from Bill. Refer 100 and you get the videos of the live event that's happening in June, because one of the things we decided to do was bring as many of the contributors as we could into one place. So that was the bribe for people to join. Now, when it came to launching the book, I said to Bill, well, we also need to have a bribe for people to buy. buy it because we want to do it in as short a period of time as possible. And so I thought, well, what could we give away? And it had to be something that was as much value as was in the book. Now, the value in the book is not $25, because if you were to get those 49 people, people like Mike Koenig, like Russell Brunson, like Ryan Deiss, into a room for a day to teach you what they teach you in that book, it wouldn't be $25, you'd be talking about tens of thousands of dollars worth of value. So what do we give away as a bribe to buy the book? We'll give them the swipe file. The way that we teach people how we sold them the book, we'll give it away. And so we created the swipe file. As I said, we don't want to make people think too hard. So we wanted to give members of the launch team as much material pre-done as possible. We wanted to be able to copy and paste, so we gave them emails to send out. We gave them social media posts, and we even created images so that when they made those social media posts, people would see the posts. So the emails were things like that. Each of them had a date on it, and inside the swipe file it said, this is what you're going to do day by day. We highlighted where they were going to copy in their book URL, and I was very gratified that none of the partners actually did send it out with your book URL in it. Now, one thing that did surprise me, a lot of these people are very experienced marketers, and you kind of think, well, we'll give them the emails, but they'll edit them and they'll make them their own. No, actually what happened was about 100 people sent out exactly the same email on exactly the same day. So when you have people saying, I got the same email from 5 different people. You know what? They still bought. So one important lesson here is, it doesn't matter if people are sending out emails with your words instead of their own. And it doesn't matter if someone gets the same email from 5 people, 100 people, whatever. They still buy. So we wanted to keep things light. We only actually created 3 emails. One to be sent out on the 9th of April, another one on the 11th of April, and then another on the 13th of April, which was the final day of launch week. We also created some social media posts. And there were 2 kinds of people who were helping us to launch it. We had a general audience, people who hadn't contributed the campaigns to the book, but either they were friends of Bill, or they were readers, or they just wanted to help us. And so we created some social media posts just for them. And then we had others for people who'd given us campaigns for the book, which mentioned it. That was my favorite there. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm in a book with Bill Glazer, Russell Brunson, Ryan Deiss, and Mike Koenig. We also, as I said, created some eye-catching social media images. Now obviously, if you're using this swipe file for your own launch, you're not going to be able to use these, but take them as inspiration. There are a lot of shots of the product there, but in real life. And as I said, people are busy. So originally, my plan had been, we'll just give them the swipe file, and everything will go like clockwork. And as we got to about the week before the launch, I thought, you know what? Nobody is going to send an email on the 9th of April. So what we started to do was we sent out some email reminders. And it started with some small asks. So we didn't go immediately with, okay, it's time to send the email. Because then I thought, by the time people have even noticed these coming into their inbox, they're not going to know they're there. So we started off with some simple ones. So on the 19th of March, a month before, we pick a post from the swipe file and post it. And then we got them sending some more posts. And then we took one of the ideas in the book, the idea of buy and tell, which is from Matt Basak's campaign. We started telling people, now, your book should have arrived by now. Start buying and telling. Start telling people that you've bought it and you're excited that it's coming. And we moved on. Okay, so now they've done a few things for us. Maybe we can get them to post a selfie with the book, or to post a little video about how excited they are. And then as we got closer, send the email. On the day when we're not sending an email, we still wanted them to take action. So, post something on social media, send the next email, post something on social media, send the next email, and then finally we thank them for their help. So the idea was, 1, keep reminding them, 2, keep them doing something, and 3, give them time to catch up. And as I said, that is just one small part of the campaign. Everything else on that sheet was how we got people to buy the book through Bill's existing lists. There's also things in there about how we're going to get people to the live event. Now, first of all, well, Bill's already asked how many people have got the book, so I'm not going to ask that now. Buying the book gets you the swipe file. But who here would like to see the whole campaign? Everything else that's on that sheet? Well, there's an easy way to do that. I'm going to be presenting the whole of that campaign at Bill's live event, at Outrageous Campaigns Live, which is in San Diego in June. So, one of the things we're going to be saying is how to get people to come to your live event, which is basically the rest of that sheet. That's what we'll be presenting. So if you want to see the rest of that campaign, you know what you've got to do. You had the order form from Bill on Thursday. Fill it in. Thank you.
All right, so the way you can see the entire campaign is you can actually at the live event.